કે તું ખરાબ એને શીખવાડે છે.
Pratap said the same thing to me. હું આપવા જાઉં એટલે કે એ લોકોને કેટલા પૈસા છે. They are earning more at the end of the day. So you don't have anything to spend.
The thing is, now you are starting to judge કે મારા પૈસાનું શું કરશે. That means you are saying હું તને પૈસા આપું છું એનું તું ખાવાનું જ લે.
એટલે હું તો એ જ હેતુથી આપું છું કે એને બોર્ડ મૂક્યું છે કે આમ hungry, I need help.
Right.
હું એ જ જોઉં છું.
Exactly.
અનિલ મને એ રીતનું કહે છે એટલે મેં કીધું કે મારે એટલે ક્વેશ્ચન મેં પૂછ્યો.
No, એટલે પણ the way I do it, I give money. And I taught my children every weekend they create 12 bags full of sandwiches, chips, fruits, and something else, and they give the bag. So there is no question of giving money. It takes some work to do it, but બંને છોકરાઓ ને 6 બેગ આપી દે કે જે તમને જ્યાં રસ્તામાં મળે 6 બેગ આપી દે. Our job is to, our duty, our karmanyavadikaras is to do the thing, do the right thing. When it says don't expect the results, means you are not going to know exactly what the result is coming up. Whatever they do with, go ahead.
ના એટલે તો પછી રાજનભાઈ આ કર્મ અકર્મ અને વિકર્મમાં શું ફેર? આપણે કર્મ તો ખબર પડી.
We are going to come down to those things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. મને એમ કે આના અનુસંધાનમાં કઈ હોય તો.
So going back to what us, our job is not કે ભાઈ ભગવાન રિઝલ્ટ જે તારો જોબ છે જોબ કરવાનું જે છે તારો your duty, you don't have right or what results will come. આપણે સિમ્પલ દાખલો આપીએ, છોકરાની એક્ઝામ હોય અને છોકરો વાંચવા બેઠો હોય અને મારો ફર્સ્ટ ક્લાસ આવશે, ચાલો ફર્સ્ટ ક્લાસ આવશે, ચાલો ફર્સ્ટ ક્લાસ આવશે કે નહીં આવશે. અરે ભાઈ તારો જોબ ઇઝ ટુ રીડ, not તારું રિઝલ્ટ શું આવશે. Your job is to focus and read and study whatever the result may come, because you are not giving the results. Result will be coming based on what you wrote in your exams. And that's how I kind of look at it, especially working in the Hindu charities. This is what kind of made me think more and more about it, that this is my job is to do. Pachi એને સલાહને કુવામાં પડવું તો પડે. That's not my job. I can't control that.
Actually, Asmita Ben, I had given lecture to management when I worked for state government about Karma Yoga and management, sort of combination of our Karma Yoga concept and Western management. How do you reconcile those different viewpoints? I did not put these slides here because that was a separate topic altogether. But if you are interested at some point in time, I'll be happy to talk about Western management theory and how Karma Yoga and how do you reconcile those somewhat different dimensions. So I kind of I explained management from Karma Yoga theory of Eastern religions. That's how I presented it too.
No, we would love to hear that, Rajan bhai. Whenever in between we get chance, okay, if you can embed one of the આપણે જ્યારે વાત કરતા હોય કર્મ થિયરી
ઇન્ટરેસ્ટ ન હોય તો આપણે સાંભળીશું.
હા
એટલે એવી જાતનો ટોપિક આવે ત્યારે we can always extend that.
I have slides for those as well. That I haven't put it here right now.
જ્યારે ટોપિક આવે એવું આવે ત્યારે just explain that part.
તમારો લેક્ચર પ્રતાપે અટેન્ડ કરી છે?
Yeah, I attended that lecture at this.
Yeah, I remember Pratap was there. It was in the same building I used to work.
Yeah, Painters Ma.
I was there too.
No, Dinesh Bhai wasn't there.
ના.
That was a different lecture, my
No,
dear.
Dinesh Bhai, you came for death and dying concept.
This was a different.
That was for death, issue related to death. Anyway, I'll be happy to talk about that some point in time. Yeah,
that would be good.
All right, so go ahead. Naina, when you were saying something? No, okay. All right, so I think we'll go to the slides and see how it works out. This is a statement that I really love. This is coming from Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. And I think this carries a very important part. It's a combination of karma theory and karma yoga concept as well, and management in general. which says something like this. I'm going to read. Watch your thoughts, for they become the words. Watch your words, for they become your actions. Watch your actions, they become the habit. Watch your habits, they become your character. Watch your character, that becomes your destiny. Very nicely presented what Anil Bhaiya je kahun ne, how desire and how that desire and it carries forward. This is kind of same idea, you know, that desire leads to thought, words, action, and eventually your destiny. So very nicely stated in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad.
That's very true.
All right, let's move on next one. Okay, this lecture I had prepared for Vivekananda 150મી વર્ષગાંઠ હતી ને ત્યારે આપણે UT ના કેમ્પસમાં હરીશ કોટેચા had arranged for lecture. So this is the lecture I gave at that time when I was working in the state government. So we can move forward, yeah. Okay, so this is Mahatma Gandhi's statement that I referred to. If all Upanishads and all other scriptures happened all of a sudden to be reduced to ashes, and if only one verse in Isha Upanishad were left in the memory of Hindus, Hinduism will live forever. So he is referring to that first stanza of Isha Upanishad, and we'll come to that. So he says that everything in Hinduism dies away and nothing survives. If the first verse of Isha Upanishad survives, Hinduism will remain alive. So how much importance he attached to that statement of Isha Upanishad, you know, which is basically says something like this. This universe is pervaded by the Lord. Service to that universe, renouncing it is the key. That's what he says, basically. All right, let's move on to the next slide. Yeah. Ashok bhai, I lost the slide. Biyan dekha hai koi ne?
No, I lost it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lost it too,
Yeah,
yeah.
એ કઈ જતું રહ્યું બધું. He's trying.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
અશોક ભાઈ લોચા બહુ મારે છે સાકુ બેન.
I know, હું કહું છું પણ મારું સાંભળતા જ નથી.
બિચારા કરે છે ને પછી નીલો
તમને
જવાબ
એમ કરો ચોકુબેન એમની પાસે લેપટોપ લઈ લ્યો.
હું તો ક્યારનું કહું છું આને ગાર્બેજ કરી દો, નવું લઈ આવો, પણ સાંભળે તો ને કોઈ.
All right, let's move on to the next one.
એ કર્મનો સિદ્ધાંત ફોલો કરે છે કે મારું કામ કરે જાવ, ફળ જેવું આવે ફળની આશા નથી રાખતો.
Computers are
This is
fine
this
when they
stanza.
work well, but when they don't work, nothing much you can do so.
Right, no problem. So this is the stanza. In this changing world, everything is subject to change. Yet everything is pervaded by ruling force, the spirit of Lord. Practice renunciation by being strong in the consciousness of self. Do not run after or covet anyone's wealth. So this is that different translation, but basically implies the same thing. By work, doing karma, indeed, one should wish to live here for 100 years. So this is the second stanza. Okay. For a man who wants to live thus, there is no way other from this, whereby karma may not cling to you. So this is the idea of bondage, that action doesn't bind you to the world. By doing this, that's basic Isha Upanishad statement. So this is a slightly different translation, but you get the point. All right, let's move on to the next one. So this is what Gandhi says about Gita. When doubts haunt me, when disappointments stare me in the face, and I see not one ray of hope on my horizon, I turn to Bhagavad Gita and I find a verse to comfort me, and I immediately begin to smile in the midst of overwhelming sorrows. This is what Gandhi wrote in Harijan. Basically talking about Karma Yoga concept. And if you remember, second chapter Gita, the last, and I forgot the number, but something like 27 onwards, Mahatma Gandhi says, for me, this is the crux of Gita, which is the primary way of saying, doing action, the karma and karma phal, and the sthita prajna, all those ideas are expressed. So he says that everything else, if nothing else is there in Gita, these are the verses that are most important as far as I am concerned. All right, let's move on.
But second chapter is whole Gita, right?
Yeah, later half of second chapter is primarily dealing with Karma Yoga and Sthita Prajna. Okay, so this is Karma Yoga and Gita, the third chapter that Anil Bhai was referring. And I think this is coming from second one. Yeah, okay. So these are the ones that he is talking about. Treating pleasure and pain, gain and loss, victory and defeat alike. Engage yourself in the duty. By doing your duty this way, you will not incur sin. Now remember, Christianity, the word sin and what we believe to be papa are not necessarily exact same thing. But often because translation of papa is sin, it gets mixed up in the Christian metaphor. That is not what it means. And I'll come down to papa point later on. Okay. You have control over your respective duty only, but no control or claim over the results. So this is that karma phala issue. Ma phaleshu kadachana. That is the idea. The fruits of work should not be your motive. You should never be inactive. So one does not need to be inactive, but don't do the work for the fruit of the action, which is for yourself. That is what he's making a point. So these are the stanzas he's referring to, that for me, this is the crux of Gita. A karma yogi becomes free of both vice and virtue in this life itself. Therefore, strive for karma yoga, working to the best of one's ability without becoming attached to the fruit of the work is called karma yoga. So action performed without an expectation of personal gain is karma yoga. That is the idea of Gita, which basically got amplified over the last decade, last century. All right, let's move on. Lord Krishna in Gita again. This is coming from different chapters, but you get the point. One who does all the work in an offering to the Lord, abandoning attachment to the result, that's the most important part, is as untouched by the sin or the karmic actions. Remember, now the sin is basically defining sin in a different way. That's karmic reaction. As a lotus leaf is untouched by the water. Okay. Then one of the stanzas of Gita says 6:30. Those who see me in everything and see everything in me are not separated from me, and I am not separated from them. So again, this is a very, yeah, go ahead, Dinesh bhai.
So if we follow all this good stuff, then we should not have any goals in life at all.
No, that is the idea of management coming in the picture. That was a question asked of me as well, by the managers, people in management, saying if you do it without an expected result, what is the point of doing it? So that's my answer. I mean, I can summarize my answer. I said the answer is that your goal is there. You are doing the work with an expected goal. But the point is that you don't need to be obsessed with that goal. If that does not work out, accept the result as unsatisfactory and try to find a different way to reach the goal. What I said is this: if you're obsessed with the end product, what will happen is that you will be tempted to change the means. So means and end connection is important from Gandhi's point of view. that end you expected end is expected, but not obsessed over. If you
Yeah,
are obsessing over a desired end, what will happen is that you will manipulate the means, basically corrupted means. So if you think that you want a result of your test experiment to be X, if you don't get X, what will happen is that you will manipulate the data
But
to come to a point where it leads to X.
So the end justify means is not applicable in this within this context.
I agree with what you just said, but then how do you expect if I don't get totally married to the end, how can I give my best?
No, you can. Is that you accept the result that is less than expected and try to find a different way to find, see if there is a result that you are expecting comes to you.
But that is at the end of the experiment. The
Right.
result comes at the end of the experiment. But till I finish the experiment, I am 120% involved in expecting a result. Now, whatever the result comes, that's fine, but I have to be completely involved in the work. Otherwise, there won't be 100% given.
Well, the answer to that question is that if you work hard and use your means appropriately and ethically, you are likely to succeed. You may fail. If you do fail, then you accept that that is an outcome as a karma phala of God's grace, that you were not successful. You know, that is the answer I can give.
Okay, because I'm in between these. I still don't have the answer that convinces me, because I asked many, even Tejomay Energy asked his question, and his answer was what you pretty much said.
Anil Bhai.
Say, yeah. I would give the same answer. Look at your example of our engineering exams. We worked hard. You put 100% for your exams because it's very competitive thing, right? But then, at some point you go and just do the thing and accept the result as it came to. It was that time you did follow the same path. So it's commitment is there, but then eventually you had to depend upon the results that came out, and you accepted it in life. That's how you went ahead with everything. So that's basically, I'm saying the same thing as Rajan.
I think what happens is this, that if you hanker for a specific result, like our current president is, if you don't get the result that you wanted it to be, you begin to suspect, or you begin to say, is that was my fault? So essentially you blame everybody else, except you, for a result that was not what you wanted to be.
Okay.
Yeah. Rajdeep bhai.
So I'm just changing a little bit topic here. So તમે જે કર્મનું પહેલા કહ્યું ને, કર્મ without expectation ની વાત કરી, right? But by definition, karma is without expectation, isn't it?
No.
Not necessarily.
There are two components. Maybe I should mention this. There is a selfish action and there is a selfless action.
Correct.
So karma yoga is the one that diverts you from selfish action to selfless action. So it is action for sure, but it is not geared to selfish result. Or think about it.
Wait. Karma એટલે શું? સારું કામ કરવું એ કર્મ, isn't that?
Satkarma.
What is the definition of karma?
Right?
Action, basically.
No,
action,
what is the
good or
definition?
bad, doesn't matter.
Any action.
Yeah.
Any action.
Any action is karma?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Karma essentially is work. In one of the lectures, Swarup says something like this. When you talk about translating karma as a work, often you get confused. And he says something like this: work is performed by the machine too, by the computers too. But the work that is consciously done, and the kartutva and bhoktutva, that means you not only do it, but you enjoy or suffer the result, is the karma.
તમારા
Not
માટે
the
રસોઈ
mechanical
કરવું
work that is performed by the machine.
kind of when you do work.
એટલે આપણે આજે પુરુષો કામ કરે ઘરમાં બધું અત્યારે આ કોવિડમાં એ બધા ગુડ કર્મ એમ
Rajni, don't go there because she will put 40 years of her life in front of you. You won't have answer.
હું એક કહું છું દરરોજ રસોઈ કરીને આપણે ખવડાવીએ ત્રણ વાતે મારું ગુડ કર્મ.
No, એ તો એને બગાડે છે.
આ કર્મ તો એવું છે
I misunderstood. I'm sorry, I misunderstood. I thought karma meaning a good deed. But you said karma is a work.
Is work, basically. It may be good or bad.
Okay, got it.
સવારથી ઉઠીએ ત્યાંથી કશું પણ કરીએ એટલે કર્મ જ કહેવાય ને.
હા, પછી એ કર્મ થઈ ગયું, right?
Even your thoughts are also
પણ એને
karma.
પહેલી જે સ્લાઇડ આપી હતી તેમાં તમારા ઇન્ટેન્શન શું છે that will તમે બોલો શું પછી તમારું એક્શન શું થાય અને
Yeah,
એ
of course.
તમારી ડેસ્ટિની થાય. that was a very good sign.
Yeah, absolutely. But
Bye,
now,
bye.
but મારું આખું disconnective was karma. I thought karma, the way I thought was karma meaning good deed. But you saying karma is a work actually.
Yeah.
And it could be good, bad, ugly, could be in selfish, unselfish, all that.
Right.
Sometimes, at some point, we will go into this all this definition of nitya karma, naimitya karma, akarma, vikarma, several categories
many
of
karma,
karma
yeah.
that we do around, and we will come to that point somewhere later on. the
Yeah, I think we'll
theme.
come to some of these ideas anyway.
અનિલભાઈ તમે હમણાં આ engineering નો દાખલો આપ્યો
હા.
તો આપણે જે એક્ઝામ દેતા હોય કે જે કંઈ કરતા હોય એ ભલે કર્મ જ છે એક જાતનું પણ
Yeah.
એમાં સેલ્ફિશ તો છે ને કે ભાઈ આપણે આ વાંચીએ સારું તો આપણે પાસ થઈ જાય એની પાછળ આપણો હેતુ તો સેલ્ફિશ નો જ છે ને.
પણ તમારો હેતુ સારો હોય એટલે
If karma is a work, if karma is a work, then દરેક કર્મ પાછળ હેતુ તો હોય જ ને. દરેક કોઈ બી કામ
એટલે કહું છું આપણે કહીએ ને કે સેલ્ફલેસનેસ હોવું જોઈએ કર્મમાં જે કર્મનું કર્મણીય વાધિકારેસ્તુ મા ફલેષુ કદાચન. તો આની અંદર તો આપણે વાંચીએ એની પાછળ આપણો સ્વાર્થ હોય છે ને.
સ્વાર્થ ન હોય તમારો એક ગોલ છે લાઈફ નો.
Right,
સ્વાર્થ
goal
ન
છે કે engineer થવું છે, right?
તમને રિઝલ્ટ આવે સારું.
God, you know.
Yeah, that is the goal કે તમારે પાસ થવું છે જિંદગીમાં આગળ વધવું છે.
No, what
Okay,
I,
એક્ઝામ
Okay,
આપતી
તો
વખતે તમે
એ
cheating નથી
કર્મનું-
કરતા.
એ
That is
કર્મનું
good
જુદું થશે
karma.
ને.
yeah.
that what I am thinking here is when you are doing a karma. Now the thing is there are two facets, right? To here, કર્મ જ્યારે થાય છે તમે સ્ટડી કરો છો આ વખતે તમે સ્ટડી ઉપર કોન્સન્ટ્રેટ કરો આ તમારો કર્મ છે. result is not what is there right now. It should not be in your mind. In your mind it should be only the duty to do that particular thing which you are doing. You are studying, because the time if you start thinking about your result, then you are not doing your karma, right? You are
No, no.
thinking
બધા reason
Doing
ના,
karma
એ તો
is, you are hurting somebody. That is the bad karma.
those are
that's
different
true,
things.
that's
We are
true.
not
Bad
come yet
karma,
there.
you can understand that.
જાનાબેન પ્રતાપે જે કીધું and I also said the same thing earlier કે તમે એન્જિનિયરિંગની એક્ઝામ છે ને તમે વાંચો છો. Your job is to study, and yes, you are studying because you want to get better grades.
દિનેશભાઈ at that time કોઈ think નથી કરતું કે I'm just studying. તમે
હું
good
તમને-
result માટે જ કરતા હોય છે. ઓકે,
હું તમને મારો પોતાનો દાખલો આપું.
તો
When I
તમે
was
મહાન
studying
હશો કદાચ.
when I was studying for my BE engineering exam, I was already કે ભાઈ મને admission અમેરિકામાં મળે. That was why I was studying, which is wrong. Because I was studying for going to America is more important than learning. અને પછી ગોખીને એટલું બધું ગોખી નાખ્યું કે yes પેલા પોપટની જેમ બધું લખી નાખ્યું ખરું, પણ આજે કે 3 મહિના પછી મને કોઈ પૂછે કે ભાઈ આ શું કર્યું તો જે થયું એ થયું ભાઈ તું રિઝલ્ટની વાત કર ને યાર બીજી ક્યાં.
No,
That-
I mean, to be
that's how
honest, I mean, it's not easy to separate.
Yeah, right.
It is not easy to separate those two things. There is always a personal gain issue, and that is what Shankaracharya actually said, is that niskam karma, by definition, may be possible, but niskam karma in real life is not possible. So that was his idea. He basically said that every action, whether you believe it to be niskam or not, leads you to bondage, because true niskam karma is hard to do.
No, but that also
I
comes
agree
to
with
the,
you 100%.
now that comes to Janaben, the question you or you made a statement about giving the money to or food to something, the homeless or the when you are driving. At that time, if you are thinking about even about your own happiness in doing it, is not what Gita is telling. Your karma is to just give. At that time, you should not think anything.
ના
If you
ના
are
હું
thinking-
ના મારી અનિલ સાથે કહું છું થાય છે એવું.
Oh, okay.
અનિલ
આ
સાથે
તો-
થાય છે. મને તો
આ તો-
એ જે બોર્ડ હું વાંચું ને મારા મનની અંદર દયા આવી જાય એટલે હું સીધું કાઢીને જ આપું અને અનિલનું માનું પણ નહીં એટ ધેટ ટાઈમ. પણ આ અમારે તસલ થતી હોય બંનેને.
આ તો બીજી ગીતા છે.
આઈ નો પણ મારું નામ ગીતા નથી ને.
અશોકભાઈ,
So,
તમે કહેતા હતા કશું?
no, તમે વાત કરેલા, I was saying end justifies the means is not really something that would be appropriate within the context of what we are talking about.
100% compartmental distinction is not possible.
Not possible.
He is, are you doing it, which is your primary goal? You know, secondary goal and tertiary goal very well may be, you know, selfish and personal, but your primary goal is not, then that's what matters.
Right. સકર્મ, સારું કર્મ.
કોઈ પણ કર્મ કરવાથી પછી તમને આમ કે મને મોટાઈ મળશે, મને આમ મળશે, બધું તમે કરો ખરા, પણ ઇવેન્ચ્યુઅલી યોર થિંગ ઇઝ કે ભાઈ મને આમાંથી કંઈક મળવાનું છે, ગોલ માન મળે કે પેલું મળે, તો તમને તો ગમે જ, બધાને જ ગમે કે
There's
માન
always
મળે.
going to be secondary gain, you know, some secondary motive will always be there. But if the primary motive is the dominant one, which is selfless, then that matters most.
Right.
આ બહુ કોમ્પ્લિકેટેડ છે સબ્જેક્ટ.
All right, well, અશોકભાઈ કેટલા વાગ્યા કેટલો ટાઈમ છે?
એટલે
પણ એમાં એવું પણ નહીં કે તમે જે
About
એમને
10 minutes.
Okay.
10 minutes.
બોલો.
રાજનભાઈ.
એમાં એવું પણ નહીં કે જેમાં તમે દરેક સ્થિતિમાં જ્યાં હો, જેવી રીતે એક્ઝામ છે, યુ આર અ સ્ટુડન્ટ. સ્ટુડન્ટનો ધર્મ છે વાંચવાનું, પરીક્ષા આપવાની અને એમાંથી પાસ થવાનું, એનો ધર્મ છે, તો એ કર્મ જ થઈ ગયો. તો એમાં there is no goal કે મારે પાસ થવું જ છે. that is a સ્ટુડન્ટનો ધર્મ છે કે એને વિદ્યાર્થીએ ભણવાનું જ છે. તો that is his કર્મ. લાઈક જેવી રીતે કે ડોક્ટર હોય કે મેરેજ પછી પત્નીનો ધર્મ પતિનો, તો that is like a defined as a કર્મ. તો એમાં આપણે સ્વાર્થ કઈ રીતે રાખી શકીએ? Isn't it that way? I look at that way. The student has to study. That is their karma. That is their dharma. Nothing, whatever the result is. I look at that.
How do you differentiate between this dharma? Because was a good point. Like મારે ગૃહિણી તરીકે ઘર કામ કરવાનું કે whatever I have to work. How do you differentiate between that?
ધર્મ અને કર્મ.
Dharma and karma.
Absolute distinction is not possible. Absolute distinction between different motives is not possible. I think the key is which one is the overwhelming motive. That is the key. Not necessary that you can have it 100% one way or the 100% the other way.
So you cannot differentiate between dharma and karma then?
I think I'll come to that. There is a couple of slides about Swadharma. Yeah, we'll talk about that.
યા તમે આઈસી નૈનાબેને સ્વધર્મ માટે બોલ્યા, રાઈટ? એટલે કે ભાઈ મારો ધર્મ દરેકનો ધર્મ પ્રમાણે આમ કે
No. As a student કેમ કહેતી હતી કે દરેક applies to everyone, not only like ધર્મ એટલે not as a religion, but ધર્મ એટલે what is your duty? What is your duty?
રિલિજન નહીં, સ્વધર્મ એટલે what I have to do at
your duty to do.
what I need to do.
Duty to do it, right?
Let me just amplify some of these ideas. I mean, the way I see it. You know, just think about it. There is a rita means natural order. That's one aspect. there is a Sarva Dharma, or Sarva Dharma is good. So there is a natural order, there is a Sarva Dharma, and there is a Vishesha Dharma, which is, Vishesh means individualized Dharma, Swadharma. So Dharma of a kid in the school, or the high school student, or Dharma of a father, Dharma of a mother, or whatever. So there are three components to every action. Natural order is the most dominant one, that every action must comply in the conformity of the natural order. So like climate control, trees and water, green revolution. So every action must lead to maintaining the natural order which is common to everybody. Then Sarva Dharma, the action that I perform ought to be good for common good. So a wife's dharma, a husband's dharma, kid's dharma, whatever dharma, but it must be in the conformity of Sarva Dharma. And the third part is a Swadharma, where individualized things will be from one to other, but the other two will be common for everyone. So the idea of papa, or the sin, as we will translate in English, is what this is. A Swadharma performed against the conformity of natural order and Sarva Dharma is papa.
Say it again. Please say, last repeat karo to.
Okay.
Last
Swadharma done in a manner that is harmful to the natural order and harmful to the Sarva Dharma is a papa.
Yeah.
A Swadharma performed in the conformity of natural order, Rita, and Sarva Dharma is Punya.
That is true.
Very nice.
Am I making sense?
Yes.
Yeah,
Absolutely,
and you can,
absolutely.
one can add something to this Swadharma, because you would see that a slok in chapter 3, my natural tendency to do things. See, if I'm good at doing something, I should be doing that. There is a sloka that says that I should not be doing anything else, because, for example, I'm not good at working in the field, and there is a big farm, and maybe if I farm it, I get subsidies and I get a lot of money. So for economic reason, but I'm doing good at maybe engineering. So I should stick to my engineering and not go to something else which brings me more money. So this is also Swadharma. Your natural propensity, your natural tendency that you should do so. So if you think you're service-oriented person, you should be doing service-oriented. If you are thinking that you are going to be, a leader of something, you lead people. That's also a part of Swadharma. Swa is you, and so that again goes into the same general work, that there is a natural order, and in that order I belong to this particular way of doing things, and I should be doing just that thing and not anything else.
Swadharma has a two component, and maybe I'll bring up since Ali mentioned nature and nurture. Nature means my genetic inheritance as well as my genetic predisposition, and nurture means how I was raised. So I may be born in a Brahmin family, but my tendency is that I want to do business, or vice versa. So both the components, as long as you do within those and is helpful to the society at large and also maintains the natural order, then that's fine. If you change from A to B to C, it is not in conformity. If it's harmful to the other two, then that is not fine. So that is punya. If it is done against those two orders, then it is papa. As far as how we define sin.
So the guy working in a butcher shop, that's Swadharma?
Yes, actually there is a story, and I don't remember the exact story now. Somebody asked.
Kabir did not sow in a butcher, but he's a weaver.
નજીક આવો.
ઇલાબેન સંભળાતું નથી.
There is,
નજીક આવીને બોલો ઈલાબેન તમારા.
ના ના એટલે
there is a story, yes.
ઘણી આથી અત્યારે મને એક્ઝેક્ટલી
The story, I mean, that's what I was talking about. There is a dialogue between two people. You know, one is asking the guru that what is the best way to learn dharma. So the guru refers him to a butcher,
યસ
you know, to learn what dharma is. So after the butcher is cutting all those things that he's doing, he sits down with that student and explains. So what the teacher was telling him is that sarva swadharma is whatever he is doing is his swadharma, as long as it's done for the societal good, because society is also eating meat and you know whatever. So basically the point he was making is this, that it is not inherently bad. This guy's butcher work is not inherently bad, because that is a part of life. I don't
So-
remember the exact story, but that's the basic crux of the story.
But
We
similar-
have about 2 minutes.
Similarly, difference between a soldier and a gunda who kills. Soldier, he kills people, but that's his dharma, that's his job, that's his duty. While a gunda kills a person but that's not his nature.
Right.
નહીં,
And
કર્મના
the same
સિદ્ધાંત
soldier in a different context. If he's fighting in the war versus he's doing in the civil society, doing the same thing is not necessarily good for the society.
Yeah.
Now, so
Actually,
if he kills an enemy in the war versus he kills an individual in the civil society, though he's doing same work, is different, because it's sarva dharma issue.
Actually, they in the hierarchy of good karma, soldier killing in the war becomes very highest order. A soldier going in the war and fighting for a country
Yeah,
is
right.
the
Yeah,
highest order
he's
of
doing for
duty.
the good, yeah, for the other people. Yeah.
બનાવવા માટે ઝઘડતા હોય એનું શું
There is actually a book, and you know, by Steve Rosen, who invited about 7 or 8 different scholars. The title of the book is "Does Gita Teach Violence?"
Oh,
The title of the book. So each scholar is writing the implication of what Arjun is being taught by Krishna: go and fight and kill.
Yeah.
So that is the idea. So now each one explains from his point of view what is the underlying issue. So the title of the book is "Does Gita Teach Violence?" So I mean, I'm not, you know, it's a pretty big book, and I mean, if you're interested, I'll be happy to bring up it next time and you know give you some synopsis of that. But that is the idea. So I mean, like actually, Arvind Sharma wrote an essay which says same Gita that taught Gandhi ahimsa